Okay. I was listening to Adam Kinsinger and Charlie Sykes. Charlie Sykes does a talk series called I don't know. Anyway, it's on YouTube. Charlie Sykes. He used to be. He used to host the Bulwark podcast before the next president of the United States, Tim Miller. They're gonna push Tim Miller. And it's a good idea because he's quite, he's fast. He's quick-witted. He's not intimidated by anybody. He's got a lot going for him. So Charlie Sykes was talking to Kinsinger about Kinsinger's new children's book. And the gist of the book is heroism. Kinsinger is talking about how if you're under 30 in the United States, he's asking what kind of, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth. If we can use the word role model, I don't know if he used that word. But he uses heroic. I didn't even listen to the whole interview. I'm going to, but within the span of just maybe one or 2 minutes, they use the word hero multiple times. So now, this is my little installment here is really more, this is a remark about a dear friend of mine who is chronically absent from my life in all sorts of ways. But no matter, it's he's a brilliant man, and there are key moments that I learned from this person. Their comments are utterly invaluable. This is a few years ago, we were at, it was in Brooklyn. What was it called? Pig Beach or Pork Beach or something? Anyway, it's this big barbecue place in Brooklyn. In the summertime, it's just like a big beer garden. And everybody's eating barbecue. It's very festive. So I was sitting there with my friend. And we were talking about culture and TV and streaming series and stuff. And this is the year where Ted Lasso. They were really pushing Ted Lasso. They probably are. And it had just come out, and my friend was going on about And I think since we've talked about it since, and I think he said he retracted a certain part of his critique of Ted Lasso, but he was going on in praise of Ted Lasso, and and I had at the time maybe watched 15 minutes of one of the episodes, and I thought it was rubbish. And I said, well, look, isn't it rubbish? I mean, I said, there's nothing heroic. There's, I mean, the protagonist is not giving much of a plausible foothold for us to believe his particular position, and it just doesn't seem like this protagonist is. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying, because my own critique was, it was fucking half baked. I mean, I watched 15 minutes of it. Well, how much of a critique can you get out of 15 minutes of a thing? And so then my friend, and when he makes heavy weather, sometimes you have to pay attention, you might miss it. He starts making heavy weather about heroism. And roughly the idea of heroism is passé. And I immediately got the point, and subsequently, now I have to put an asterisk by the concept of heroism. And then when you hear Kinsinger talking in a completely uncritical way, unreflective way about heroism, as though that's a perfectly unassailable concept, and it's not a question of the concept, it's a question of how it is that we're inculcating heroism. What about heroism in the first place? I mean, this works as a good cynical argument. You know, if we can imagine that people like Trump and Rubio and, the whole band of merry pranksters, if we can imagine them congratulating their own selves for being so heroic, then I think heroism is perfectly worthy of some pretty harsh critique, as long as any other apparently Western virtue. So the project of Kinsinger betrays immediately the difficulty of the current cultural situation. Because somebody gets the bright idea, and there are several right now, write a children's book because children are not being exposed to the appropriate kind of political influences. But what if the political influence is not necessarily exposure to people, but it's also exposure to the ideas that those people are making use of, or indeed now sullying, to make dirty the virtues. You have a government right now, the US government, the Trump government, making such a mockery of all manner of male virtue. And the proof, I mean, one of the proof, I mean, and Kinsinger mentions the Looksmax clavicular. I don't know if he uses clavicular, but the Looksmax phenomenon kind of looks like a perversion of heroism. So I think that if we're trying to recuperate or rehabilitate male virtue, um, if if the classical concepts of virtue have been thoroughly messed up by the past 10 or 20 years or more of American politics, then I don't care what kind of new virtue that you want to adopt, but it can't be the old classical style of male virtue, because I mean, welcome to the world that we live in. Look at all the suffering and the war and everything. For every distasteful, hypocritic, despicable thing, violent thing that you can point to, I'll point out for you a virtuous patriarchal father type who's attempting to act heroic. But the real essence of the heroism, male heroism, that they don't tell you in Kinsinger or in Charlie Sykes, is that it's about pussy. Courage is about pussy for men. Heroism is about pussy for men. Now, I don't know how that sounds. I don't know if it sounds cynical. I don't know if it sounds hostile. But it's an analytical fact. Now, is in Adam Kinsinger's book, is it also a book about pussy? So he has no problem using the term heroism, but I would imagine he would have a problem using a bunch of other leading concepts of male virtue these days, such as chasing pussy. See, if you wanted to be Kinsinger, give a Kinsingerian critique of heroism, you'll have to go into a deep critique of Looksmax. So we need to hear and there's a lot of new jargon and terminology too. You know, I want to hear what Kinsinger has to say about the relationship between heroism and Jester-Gooning. And the subtleties, or not so subtleties, I don't know, I'm just learning about this, between Jester-Gooning and Jester-Maxing. Where's heroism fit into all that? I mean, we seem to be a million miles away from heroism. The point is, you can't reject reality. You have to work with it.